Hey guys, and welcome to blockchaincamp.ca, the podcast. I'm your host, Richard Green, and I'm one of the digital asset educators. Guys, a lot has been happening in the market. It's the middle of February 2019, and the market has been holding up fairly well, relatively. We got an overall market cap of about $133 billion with a Bitcoin price of around 4,000 guys. We broke through the 3,400 resistance and got some support at 37, and then there was another Bart-like movement from 37 up to 4,000. There's a lot of volume, large buys coming in. Can we stay here? It's possible to start building it. If you start building a new support in the 4,000, above 4,000 range, then possibly we can see upwards of maybe 4,700 in the next month or so. Could be sooner. Anything's possible in crypto. Again, guys, we're not too concerned about the price because we believe in dollar cost averaging. No one can really time the bottom. So our recommendation always is to know your budget, what you're willing to invest to grow your portfolio, and set aside that amount on a periodic basis, whether it's every week, every 2 weeks, every month. And you set aside the coins, the tokens, the projects that you want to support and just consistently accumulate. This is a time of accumulation. Selling and taking profit will come in the hyper bull wave. It's coming soon. It's not yet. We're still under $1 trillion in market cap, guys. We still have over another 10x to go before I think we're going to start seeing new all-time highs, like the same type of parabolic movement we had before. But moving on, besides price, guys, this past couple weeks has been very interesting. There have been a lot of news, guys. If you haven't used BitScreener, it's a fantastic site. They give you a lot of the news releases. I got Search JP Morgan open here. Let me close that. A lot of news releases related to Bitcoin. It's super helpful. I would definitely endorse it and recommend it. Guys, today I want to talk about 3 billionaires on Bitcoin. Now, what am I talking about? You must have heard that Jack Dorsey, the man behind Twitter, the man himself behind Twitter. This guy, guys, forgive me as I find my article here. This guy, as I buy some more time, this guy, Mr. Dorsey. Guys, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, he has been tweeting about the uses of the Lightning Network, and there's been this passing the torch thing going on Twitter, and a lot of word has been spreading about this. I mean, here's a guy of a publicly traded company that is a billionaire talking about potentially saying things like, we would love to make Bitcoin as fast and efficient and transactional as possible. And that includes looking at our seller base and register. And he also went on to say that they're interested in using this technology in Square. And right now with tippin.me, you're able to tip someone Bitcoin using the Lightning Network to be able to give them a donation, or what they call a tip jar, through their Twitter handle. So it's a pretty interesting, use case, and it's sort of one of the first major apps on, or I should say dApps, on Lightning Network. So, he is getting a lot of attention, and that is very interesting. So from Jack Dorsey's perspective, he is, endorsing Bitcoin, if you would say, and it's a pretty good endorsement. I mean, the guy's a tech genius in his own rights, and it's very bullish for Bitcoin, and it's brought a lot of attention to the space, and it's giving it more legitimacy. Another billionaire I want to bring to your attention is none other than Mr. Elon Musk, Mr. Tesla. And he was on a podcast recently, and he, basically said that Bitcoin is brilliant. Those were his words. But he did highlight one key flaw that is pretty obvious to most people if you understand mining and the implications of what it can do and how much electricity it requires. But here's what Elon said during his interview. He said, "I think the Bitcoin structure is quite brilliant," Musk said, adding Ethereum and other coins to that list. "But I'm not sure it would be a good use of Tesla's resources to get involved in crypto. We're really trying to accelerate the advance of sustainable energy," which is kind of counterintuitive to Bitcoin mining. "And I think actually one of the downsides of crypto is that computationally it's quite energy intensive." There you have it. There had to be some kind of constraints on the creation of crypto, but it's very energy intensive to create the incremental Bitcoin at this point. And I think he makes such a good point, because these crypto farms and these crypto mines, they use up gigawatts of energy at a time. That's energy that could have been used to light homes, and it takes resources and fossil fuels and all these different things to create electricity today, that it's actually harming the environment. So here's an example here that PwC, they say that Bitcoin's annual consumption of energy in this particular region of the world is 32 terawatt hours, around the same used by the entire country of Serbia. You guys see that? That is pretty intense. And I think that's why solutions that don't require mining, in terms of their algorithm and their consensus mechanisms, they are going to be superior in the future, because Bitcoin is a kind of a different story, because once all the coins are mined, then it's a finite amount, but you're still going to require more and more computational power to be able to mine Bitcoins, because again, as a hash rate changes, it gets more difficult to mine Bitcoin, thus needing more computational power. And there's also been this proposal, like what will happen if a quantum computer started mining on the Bitcoin network, and would that pose possibly a 51% attack on the network? So it's kind of interesting to see just people's perspectives. We have Elon Musk, a brilliant mind, SpaceX, Tesla, PayPal, a genius in his own right. He is going on to say that Bitcoin is brilliant. What does that mean? Not a whole lot, because the guy said he only holds, what is it, 0.25 Bitcoin or something, or 0.1 Bitcoin that someone had sent him. Elon's tongue in cheek, because he may say he doesn't own it himself in his own wallet, but I'm sure as an investor, he may own some through a fund or a hedge fund of some sort. It's all tongue in cheek, guys. So first we had our boy over here at Twitter, and now we have Elon Musk. And then on the flip side, we have Mr. JP Diamond releasing JP Morgan coin. He's a billionaire in his own right too, because he owns a lot of stock in JP Morgan. If you guys want to take a quick peek, JP Diamond, he has a $485 million stake in JP Morgan Chase, and he gets about $30 million a year just in salary for working for JP Morgan. And apparently his net worth as of April 2018 is $1.3 billion. So guys, you have the perspectives of three billionaires, and you all know what JP Morgan said about Bitcoin. And I think I saw a timeline on here. In 2017, he came out and said that Bitcoin is a fraud. In 2018, he said, sorry, we were wrong. And in 2019, they launched JP Morgan coin. That is so ridiculous. And I mean, this coin is on a private network. It still needs permissions to do transactions. It's a private blockchain. It's a joke really at this point, especially with projects like XRP, which have so much more advanced traction. But you guys need to read between the lines. Like, they're backing their JP Morgan coin 1-to-1 for $1 being held. But that's what they say, right? That's what they say. So essentially, they're printing digital currency as USD and holding it and calling it JP Morgan coin. But their whole reason for releasing this this new token or this coin is not available to the public, of course. It's a private network. The whole reason for doing this is because they're trying to show that they're staying innovative. But their coin is no different than, you having, tokens or credits for a gift card, right? Having tokens and credits for a gift card with your favorite retailer. That system is outdated. It's been there for a long time. It's just how they have positioned it. But I'm sure they're doing actual blockchainy type stuff, but we really don't know because everything is on a private network and they will never share what they're working on. So what I want you guys to realize too is that JP Morgan, which is led by this gentleman, and I do respect him. He's very successful throughout his career. Speaking of none other than this guy right here, Jamie Dimon. What you guys need to also see is that the company that he works for, JP Morgan Chase, they have quite a lot of assets. 2.7 trillion US dollars is what they have under assets right now. And their share price has done very well over the past 20 years. And just over the past 5 years, they've reached an all-time high. They have a market cap of $350 billion. And guys, what you need to realize in crypto is not what people necessarily say, but it's what they do. And when we hear a billionaire talk about the future of digital currency, it's important to listen because oftentimes, given the individual, they may not lead the masses in the direction that they're heading in just right away, because typically investments, the whole process of getting wealthy is to, buy cheap and sell when it's high. Of course, you can short, which I'm sure they did very handsomely. But guys, these are things that when you hear them should perk up your ears. And I just want to bring this to your attention because there's a lot more chatter on the internet about other billionaires like George Soros, like the Rothschild family, some of the younger family members beginning to discuss these topics openly. And I think it's only a matter of time before we do see, the entire market catching fire when the economy takes a downward turn. People are going to look for alternative investments and alternative hedges for their portfolio. And we've already seen what's happening in Venezuela. Like, food shortages is just out of this world. Like all the headlines for the past, 6 months to a year have just been, crisis after crisis. And they have experienced so much inflation, guys, that their currency is basically useless. And I think it's possible that the same way how the Venezuelan inflation has just been skyrocketing, it's possible it can happen in America. It can happen in Europe. It is not unfathomable. Look at their dollar is just being completely worthless. And something I want to bring to your attention, guys, and maybe I'll do this in another video. I'll do this in another video. Is the U.S. student debt, right? And the exponential rate that it's increasing. So the student debts have just been, trumping credit card debts, auto loan debts, and this all plays into crypto. Everything is connected. That's what a lot of people don't realize. They think that the stock market is isolated from the commodities, which is isolated from crypto, which is isolated from, everything is just one interwoven economy. It's a worldwide market. And so all of these different catalysts play into, how you should trade, when you should be buying and how you should be buying, and how risk averse you should be during certain times. But again, guys, we don't really care about the price. Why? Because we're here for the long run. We're buying small investments that we can manage on a periodic basis, dollar cost averaging our positions, and we're going to be winners for the long run. And I'm really sorry for the long rant, guys, but thanks for joining us again for another podcast for Blockchain Camp. And I hope you enjoyed this one. This one was called 3 Billionaires on Bitcoin. We had Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, and Jamie Dimon just looking at their perspectives on the digital asset known as Bitcoin. Guys, we hope you enjoyed this. Hope to see you soon. Hit us up and download our podcast. Listen to the old ones. There's some good juicy bits in there. We try to make it as timeless as possible, so there's still relevant content that you can learn every time you listen. And we just hope you learned something. We'll hope to see you soon. Happy trading, guys, and